Hey guys, Nick here from Nick's Taxes, and in today's video, we're going to talk more about CERB repayments. Now, in my last video, we talked about how the CRA, Canada Revenue Agency, is now sending out T4A slips for those people who applied for and received CERB and other COVID-related benefits in 2020, and that T4A slip is what you're going to report on your tax return. I just want to note before we get into this content that there was a mistake that I made on that video regarding the T4A slip, and I just want to bring it to your attention. I don't think it's going to make a huge difference for you guys, but to be transparent, I was wrong. I mentioned that the T4A slip will include your EI, which is your employment insurance, and that is incorrect. The income that you receive from EI will be reported on a T4E, so that'll be a separate slip. Also, if you received any benefit income from Service Canada instead of the CRA, that'll also show up on a T4E. So that'll be a different slip that you might have to look out for either in the mail or through your CRA My Account. Doesn't really make a huge difference, but for the sake of honesty and transparency and to be exact, you might also receive a T4E for your insurance, your employment insurance, and you might receive a T4A for your CRB or CERB income that you received in 2020. Also, if you're new to the channel, how's it going? I'm Nick. I make videos on personal tax, finance, and investing. And so if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing if that's of interest to you. Also, I'm now on Instagram at Nick's Taxes, so please feel free to give that a follow. I'll follow you back. And also let me know what kind of content you'd like to see on that Instagram page, and I'll try to tailor that for you guys. I want to make sure that the content that I'm putting out either on YouTube or on other social medias is of value to you guys and worth your time. Also, of course, if you got value out of this video at any time, please give it a thumbs up. Just lets me know that you enjoyed this video and also sends it out to other people who may find this kind of content valuable. So again, don't do it for me. Do it for other people who would find this kind of CERB information valuable. I want to help as many people as I can with this topic. All right, so let's talk about some stuff that we already know regarding the CERB. The government said that they have no plans to change or forgive the CERB debt for those who are ineligible for the CERB, despite the fact that they acknowledge they provided incorrect information about some of the qualifying criteria for the CERB even weeks after it was available to apply for. The employment minister, her name I believe is Carla Qualtrough, I believe that's how you pronounce it, she confirmed that the government right now is not considering the option to forgive those who applied and are no longer eligible. So they're not looking to give people the benefit of the doubt or let them off the hook, even if it was an honest mistake. So what does that mean for you? It means that if you received the CERB but turned out not to be eligible for it, you're going to have to repay the money. If you've already repaid it back in 2020, you should be fine. But if you haven't repaid it yet, it's going to show up on that T4A slip that we talked about because you've received that benefit income in 2020. Therefore, we're going to have to report it on the 2020 tax return, and you're going to be taxed on that income. The CRA has gone on to say that any taxes paid on your 2020 tax return for CERB amounts you repaid will be adjusted after you file your 2021 taxes. So that means you're going to have to wait until at least April of 2022 for those tax adjustments. So if you're looking for all this to be reconciled, it's going to take literally years because of the whole tax return fiasco that we have going on. Otherwise, if you're looking at repaying and you can't afford to repay it, one of the options is to file bankruptcy, or you can work out a CRA payment plan, and that way you can pay little pieces at a time to kind of repay that CERB debt. I honestly hope that's none of you guys, but if it is, my thoughts are with you, and I hope we can get this figured out sooner than later and that this problem doesn't have to continue on into 2022. But speaking of CERB repayments, there is a new CERB repayment quiz on the CRA website that you can take to find out if you need to repay the CERB back or not. Who said taxes can't be fun, right? The CRA now has this little option, and I'll share my screen here with you guys. And it's just the CRA website. I'll link the website in the description here for you guys to check out. But you can determine if you need to repay CERB to the CRA. You can choose the situation that applies to you. Earn more income than expected during the time you received the CERB payment. You applied for and got the CERB from both Employment Insurance and Service Canada and from the CRA for the same eligibility period. You applied for CERB but later realized you're not eligible, or none of the above. So if I click one of the options, I'm going to say earn more income than expected during the time you received the CERB payment, and I click that. Then you choose the eligibility period you may need to repay. I'll say that period was for April 12th to May 9th. And then it says, in addition to the period April 12th to May 9th, did you also receive the CERB for the period March 15th to April 11th? But yeah. During the period of April 12th to May 9th, was your income more than $1,000 before deduction? I'll say yes. Then it says, dun dun dun, repay the CERB. Based on your responses, you need to repay the full $2,000 that you received for this CERB payment to the CRA. We recommend that you repay the CERB before December 31st to ensure that it doesn't impact your 2020 tax return. It's already too late. But here they have an option. You can return it by signing into your CRA My Account, or you can review the eligibility criteria through that link there. Also, you can go on to figure out how you can return it by going to this section, how to repay the CERB. And it says, where did you apply for the CERB? Either through CRA or Service Canada. So if I put CRA, it'll tell me my options here to resend it back to the CRA. Or if I hit Service Canada, it'll tell me I have to send it back to Service Canada. So if I go back to CRA, if you were paid by direct deposit or don't have the original CERB check, bam, it gives me my options and I can look either by mail, online banking, or online. So that's kind of cool. So if you're looking at if you owe back CERB or not, it will affect your 2020 taxes now since we're in the new year. But if you need to square up with the CRA regarding CERB repayments, take a look at this new quiz that the CRA has on their website. The second thing I want to talk about, if you think you can pull a fast one and apply and keep your CERB, despite the fact that you weren't eligible, say you received employment income during that time, so you weren't actually eligible, you were over the income earning threshold for the periods in which you applied for your CERB. Well, a CRA is going to be able to find out sooner than later. And what they're doing this year is they are making it mandatory for employers to include on your T4 the amount of income that you've received during different CERB eligibility periods. So on your T4, you're going to have different boxes that represent different time periods. And so for each box, your employer is going to have to put how much income you received during each time period. So that way the CRA knows whether or not you qualified for the CERB when you actually received the CERB and during that eligibility period. So if you're trying to pull a fast one, the CRA is going to be able to use this as a way to audit to see if you actually qualified for the CERB or not. So you can take a look here. How to report CERB employment during COVID-19 pay periods. And there's going to be new codes here. See box 57, you're going to have to input your employment income from March 15th to May 9th, May 10th, July 4th, and so on and so forth. And so again, this is to make sure that things are kosher for those applying for CERB, the wage subsidy, and the student benefit. What does this mean for you? It means that you don't have to do anything. It just means that your employer is going to be putting in these extra boxes on your T4. And I don't believe you're going to have to file this on your tax return. But when your employer submits the T4 to the CRA on your behalf, they'll be able to see how much money you earned during each period. These boxes, again, they're all going to be included on box 14, which is your total employment income. So you won't have to worry about that. It's just broken down into each time period. So even if you didn't apply for CERB, your employer will likely have these boxes on your T4. So it's just something that you could be aware of when you receive your T4 in the upcoming month or months ahead of us. So that's just something for you guys to know. There's nothing that you have to do about it, but it's something else that Canada has put in place for these COVID benefits. And there you have it. That is today's video. If you got value out of this video, again, please give it a thumbs up. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm Nick from Nick's Taxes. As always, happy taxing.